The final problem on the Algebra 2 Unit 3 test review is number 12, linear programming problem. First thing we want to do in these cases, of course, is to define our variables. And it looks like we're looking for the number of each item sold. It looks like we're selling donuts and Danish. So I'm going to make X the number of donuts sold. And Y the number of Danish sold. Now, next we need to write the constraints. So let's look at it. As far as the donuts go, she's going to sell between 50 and 80, donuts being our X value. So if we're going to be between 50 and 80, that means the X has to be bigger than 50, and X is going to be smaller and equal to the 80. As far as the Danish go, the Y's, let's take a look at this. We're going to be between 30 and 60. So if we're going to be between 30 and 60, we have to be bigger than 30. And we have to be smaller or equal to the 60. And the last constraint here, total number of items sold. That means when we add them together. So X plus Y, to figure out the total number of items sold, doesn't exceed. So that means it's going to be less than or equal to 120. Those will be our constraints. And at this point, we may as well take a second and write our objective function. All right, the objective function, normally use the letter P because we're dealing with profit. Sure enough, here we go, profit. All right. So we got 50 cents per donut. So 0.5 or 50 cents times each donut sold. Total profit, so we're going to add, and we're going to get 60 cents per Danish. So 0.6 for each Danish sold times the Y. Our next step would therefore be to graph our constraints. So if we start with our X equations, here we go, X has got to be greater than or equal to 50, so we find 50 on the X-axis. Draw a vertical line there. Next one, want to find 80 on the X-axis. The vertical line there. Since it said between, we know we're going to be between those two lines. The Y's are going to be bigger than 30, so we find 30 on the Y-axis and go across. Find 60 on the Y-axis, we go across. So we know we're going to be between those two lines, so we're going to be inside that rectangle to start with. Now for the interesting equation, the X plus Y is less than or equal to 120, we can do the intercept method. So if we temporarily ignore the Y, we know X is going to be 120. So on the X-axis, we put a dot on the 120. If we temporarily ignore the X, we know Y is going to equal 120. So on the Y-axis, we'll put 120 there. And since we got our 2 points, we should be able to draw a line from one to the other. Not bad. this being a less than or equal to, we know we're going to be between that. So the shaded area in this case is going to be that rectangle we started off with that left corner cut out. Now, the next thing we need to do to figure out our maximum, and we should be going with, she wants to maximize the profit, right? I don't think we mentioned that before. We want to maximize, so we want to maximize this objective function. So let's find our points, our corner points. Since we had 5 lines, we're actually going to have 5 corner points. So start on the bottom left. We got an x value of 50 and a y value of 30. Top left, x value is 50, y value is going to be 60. Next one over, x value is now 60, the y value remains 60. Going all the way over to that corner. Our x value is 80, and the y value is 40. And for the bottom corner, should have left myself a little more room here. Here we go. Bottom corner, x value is 80, y value is 30. Now it's up to you. You can probably eliminate a couple of these. Since we're maximizing, knowing that one is going to create more value than the other, I'm going to write them all out just to be on the safe side. So we're going to put them in. 0.5 times the 50, 0.6 times the 30, 5 times the 50, 0.6 times the 60, 5 times the 60, 0.6 times 60, 0.5 times the 80, 0.6 times the 40. And this one's 0.5 times the 80. That's 0.6 times the 30. So if we do the math here, 0.5 times 50 will be 25. 0.6 times 30 will be 18. 25 plus 18 will be 43. Second one, 0.5 times the 50 will be 25. 0.6 times the 60 will be 36. 25 and 36 should give us 61. Third equation, 0.5 times the 60 should give us 30. 0.6 times the 60 will be 36. So we're up to 66. 0.5 times the 80 is 40 now. 0.6 times the 40 is 24. Add those, we get 64. And the last one, 0.5 times 80 will be 40. 0.6 times the 30 should be 18. And then we should be looking at 58. So since we're trying to maximize the profit, looking for the one with the biggest value, that's 66. So if we write it out, so it makes $66 if she sells. All right, so the X was the 60. So if she sells 60 donuts, and there we go, 60 Danish. Hope that gets you through this problem. Good luck on your test.